What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Club here, back with another video, and in this one we're going to be talking about how the New England Patriots continue to make signings. It looks like this week they're really trying to fill up that roster as much as they can, as they did have this week 7 open roster spots. Obviously, they did sign a receiver in Josh Hammond, who I did make a video on if you guys do want to check that out, and this time they're going to defense to sign another one of those open roster spots here with rookie safety Brad Hawkins. I will say this does still leave the Patriots with about 5 open roster spots. Honestly, as long as injuries don't occur, which knock on wood they don't, it wouldn't surprise me if the Patriots don't add anybody to those roster spots, at least get to the full 90-man roster, because the preseason, guys, the first preseason game is August 11th. It's right around the bend. The start of the season is right around the bend. Anybody that gets signed at this point, unless it is a key NFL player, likely isn't to make the roster. But let me tell you guys, I absolutely love this move by the New England Patriots. Now, they did work out some players today overall to see if there's anybody they wanted to sign. They worked out cornerback Devin Hafford, who, if you guys remember, he was actually a UDFA by the Patriots earlier this offseason, and then they cut him. Ultimately, they just, at this point, haven't decided to bring him back. But then they worked out 3 safeties, Jalen Elliott, safety Brad Hawkins, and safety Danielle Wright. And at the end of the workouts here, it looks like they decided to go with Brad Hawkins. And again, I absolutely love this move. There are people who had Brad Hawkins as a top 10 safety from this 2022 draft class, and ultimately he went as a UDFA, and up to this point, he hasn't been signed. And I think that this is a great move by the Patriots. People had him as an early day 3 pick, so somewhere between 4th to 5th round is where he was projected to go. So obviously he had talent to the point where they had him as a mid-round draft pick, and the Patriots are getting him here as a UDFA. And honestly, if you had the Patriots signing Brad Hawkins as a UDFA right after the conclusion out of the 2022 draft, and he was a part of that pool, that very small pool of the Patriots UDFA class, he immediately would have been the best, the most talented UDFA signing that the Patriots made. And even up to this point, you gotta make the argument that he has been the best UDFA the Patriots have signed from the 2022 draft. Very talented player. Now, Hawkins is one of those players that is a little bit older for his age, but the Patriots haven't stopped themselves, especially from this draft, from going after those guys that are a little bit older. Cole Strange or whatnot. These guys are already older. But UDFA out of Michigan, Patriots love their Michigan players, and he appeared in 56 games, making 31 starts with, again, the Wolverines. Now, something that I love about his game, about his history here, is that he's actually a former 4-star wide receiver. He transitioned from a wide receiver early on in his career to a safety. And why do I love that? Because safeties or defensive backs in general that used to play wide receiver is like wide receivers that used to play quarterback. You can see the opposing position in a way that others just cannot. J.C. Jackson used to be a wide receiver before he transformed into a defensive back, and that really helped him as he transitioned to the NFL. He ended up finishing his Big Ten career with a total of 178 tackles, 8 passes defended, and a couple of fumbles. One thing I actually do want to quickly correct myself on is that for a short period of time, now he was still a UDFA, but for a short period of time, he was actually with the Atlanta Falcons, but right when it hit July, they actually cut him. So while he hasn't been a UDFA, throughout this entire offseason, he was still a UDFA, just spent a couple of months here with the Atlanta Falcons before they cut him. Now, overall, I think a lot of people are going to say, really, what are the Patriots doing here? I mean, this is a good player overall, but safety's pretty stacked here for the Patriots. I mean, whether you want to talk about Devin McCourty, Joshua Bledsoe, who's been popping off as of late. You signed Jabril Peppers this offseason. You have Adrian Phillips, Kyle Duggar. I mean, just where could this guy possibly fit in? Well, to give a little bit of back history here on this guy. He did play a good amount in the slot, but mainly for Michigan, especially in his senior year, he did play deep for them and also played in the box. Now, that's somewhere the Patriots could use help in the future. They could use a body deep. They need a guy who at some point is going to replace Devin McCourty. Is that Marcus Jones, or do they want him in the slot? Only time is going to tell that storyline. You can still make the argument that even after you find that Devin McCourty replacement, they still really have not found that deep replacement for Daron Harmon. Overall, though, Hawkins brings a lot of potential to this Patriots defense, and I really am confident that the Patriots are going to be able to get the best out of him. They know how to get the best out of these UDFA defensive backs. They've proven it so many times. Malcolm Butler, J.C. Jackson. I mean, we can go on and on. Some of the things I really do like about him, he has really good just natural ball skills, really good quick mental processor. He's a sure tackler. I mean, only a 7.4% missed tackle rate in college. For those of you who don't know what that means, that's pretty damn good. He's a really good, sure wrap-up tackler. He's also 6'1", 221 pounds, so he brings good size. He brings good length. He's actually a guy that the Patriots could play in the box, play him a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. He has the size to do so, and he also has some experience setting the edge. This is just the type of guy where he has a lot of natural instincts. He has that natural size. He has a lot of experience playing football, recording, again, 56 games. 31 of those were started at free safety. So there's multiple spots the Patriots could play him. And we're just talking about defense. He also has experience playing special teams, which honestly could be what gets him onto the roster for the short time being. And then maybe next year he's able to start contributing on defense. He's also a guy that's pretty good in man coverage, pretty good in zone coverage. He can play in both. There isn't really one I would say, naturally he's better at than the other. If I really had to pick one, I'd say maybe he's just slightly better at man coverage, which at some point I expect the Patriots to primarily get back to within their defensive scheme. But he's a guy that is an above average tackler or playmaker against the run, an area in which the Patriots really, really need help with. Probably the biggest thing that they need to fix defensively for this 2022 season. But he's also, within doing my research, I found out that he's also a really good leader. He has a great attitude. He's willing to listen. He's willing to improve. He just wants to do whatever he can to help the team. With all of these aspects that I found within doing my research, he just sounds like the absolute perfect Patriot, and it just gets you wondering, why did the Patriots not hop on this sooner? I mean, of course, when there is good, there is also bad. There are some things that are concerning about him, such as he doesn't have good range. His athleticism really isn't there. I mean, the Patriots, again, they're trying to do a couple of things this offseason. They wanted to get younger, faster, and more athletic. He doesn't necessarily fit that mold. That could be what separates him from making this team and him not making this team. If this was last year or a couple of years ago, I think that he really could have been a roster lock for this team as a UDFA. But now that we're kind of transitioning to a different defense and even a different offense here for the Patriots, that could be what separates him from not making this roster, because he doesn't have great speed. He's not super athletic. So 2 out of the 3 things he does not qualify for. He's also not a ball hawk. He never hauled in an interception in college at all. And NFL experts are worried about how he's going to translate that run support to the NFL. In college, Big Ten, he again played at an above average level at stopping the run, but they're afraid that he may get out-muscled by, offensive linemen and tight ends. Overall, he's definitely a developmental prospect, which at the end of the day, I wish the Patriots drafted him, 6th, 7th round. He went as a UDFA. At the very least, that's the difference between drafting Chasen Hines or Andrew Stuber, which, both are not likely to pan out for the Patriots. And I'm really curious if Hawkins was here from day one for the Patriots, this entire offseason, OTAs, minicamp, the start of training camp, just where could he be at right now? Because I don't know about you guys, but I do not trust the developmental team there and the coaching staff for the Atlanta Falcons. Overall, though, nonetheless, he's a Patriot now. He is going to have one uphill battle to make this Patriots final roster. In all honesty, I'm going to be really surprised if he makes his Patriots final roster, but I do think at best, Patriots get him back on their practice squad, they can elevate him a couple times this season, and hopefully he can be back next year, a full offseason with the team, so we can see what he has. But what are your guys' thoughts on this move? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember, leave a big like on this video, and of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. But like always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and go Pats.